Mark, thank you for joining us. It's been a little while since we caught up with you. Outside Portman Road at the moment, white van there. Good example of what's going on. There's about 400 of them behind. It's a busy place this summer, isn't it? We're going to have a little look around.
Yeah, there's a hell of a lot going on. And, you know, we've had, quite a break now since the last game of the season. And I thought it was an opportune time to talk to the fans and supporters and just explain to them what's been going on, give them a walk round of the stadium, because what you are going to witness is there's a hell of a lot going on.
You certainly notice it working here. A lot of noise, a lot of people in and out. 104 individual projects going on in this stadium. We'll touch on plenty of them as we go around, but we're walking towards the south stand here, and there's quite a noticeable one on the top of it, isn't there, where what used to be the big Ipswich Town crest, it's gone.
Yeah, and I guess look, this is a good place to start as any. You've just touched on it. Multiple contractors on site, over 200 people working in and around the stadium 7 days a week, undertaking probably the biggest infrastructure project the stadium has seen since the Cobold was built in the early 70s. And if we start here at the back of the Sir Alf Ramsey stand, you'll see that the signage has been taken down. You know, when we took over the football club, it hadn't lit up for years. So the signage has been taken down. All of this will be repainted. New signage will go up, which will be lit up in an evening. So when you come from the train station to Portman Road, the stadium will look pristine. It will be lit up. It'll be very clear who we are and what we're about. So yeah, and again, but that's in itself is a big piece of work.
Yeah, that one shines out all over the town when it did light up. You might not have ever seen it.
No, I've never
light
seen
up,
it.
but it did.
Never seen
it did at one point.
Yeah.
Obviously, all of this is only now visible because the land we're standing on now, which was the Staples building.
Yeah.
You haven't really seen the back of this for a long time until recent years. So yeah, it's a good space, isn't it?
No, look, it does seem, it seems quite a while ago that we actually purchased the Staple building. We looked at it, we then knocked it down. We're trying to make access and egress to the stadium far better. And again, this will all be tidied up, cleaned, pristine, ready for the Liverpool game. Because I've said this before, come the 17th of August, we are on show to the world. You know, Liverpool fans, the world are going to come across the bridge. The world are going to come to this town on the train. We have to be ready as a town. We have to be ready as a club. And we have to present ourselves in the very best way. And what I want to do today is I want to give the supporters a real indication of the volume of work that is still going on and has to be done for the 17th.
There's a small taste of it out here. If we head through the gate here, which is the hospitality entrance, corporate, that kind of thing, that's when you really start to see the scale of what's going on at the stadium.
Don't fall down any holes.
Yeah, the noise starts as well. So we'll head in here. Highs Vis jackets are beginning to come on show. And if we go just around this corner here, in through there, you're gonna see it, aren't you? This is where the heavy groundwork begins.
Welcome to the current Portman Road Stadium. I think this is a good place to start, and I think you can see from here the extent of some of the work that's going on. So where we are located now, we're actually under where my office sits, which is next to main reception, and the old players' lounge sits above that. One of the challenges we've got around the stadium is what we've needed to deliver for the start of the season has meant major structural works. And look, Portman Road's a beautiful old stadium, but it's given us some real challenges because every time we dig down, every time we do something, we have to reinforce. You know, I think there's 42 new piles gone in to reinforce certain areas in this part of the stadium. The players' lounge, as it was, we'll take you to see that in a minute. That has now been redesigned for media from the Premier League requirements for a 75-seater international media suite that has to be used every match day. To do that, we've had to reinforce every beam in the floor in that area of the stadium. Just look at the excavation work that's still ongoing, and we have to be ready for the 17th. There's a hell of a lot going on.
Yeah, any luck we might find some Roman treasure down there as well, which might help with things. Lots of media work, as we said. We're just walking down a corridor to the side of the tunnel here. This is going to be a mixed zone for the media, which is another Premier League requirement. So after every game, This is going to have all the big Premier League players will walk down here on their way in and out of the stadium as well. So this is just one of the smaller projects probably, but it seems
But what you're talking about there, Andy, is a major change to the way we've got to operate the stadium on match days, and both staff and supporters are going to have to get used to the flow of the stadium is going to be slightly different. And again, when we make these decisions, we don't make them lightly. There's a lot of planning and preparation that goes into them. But again, this walkthrough, I'm hoping, will give the fans an indication of the amount of work we're doing, some of the challenges we faced, but also give them a sense of pride that we are investing in infrastructure, we're investing in our stadium, we're investing in the fans' future. One, because we have to do it, but two, because it's the right thing to do.
We'll keep stepping out. We're on the subject of media, so it's probably a good opportunity to take a look up above us here, which is one of the bigger projects here this summer. TV studios requirement. We're on TNT Sports first up against Liverpool. That's going to be a theme throughout the season. We've spoken about a new TV studio on the top of this building here. So what can you tell us about that one?
Okay, so obviously this is the old tunnel area, and we're going to go in there in a moment and we'll have a look through and you'll see the major work that's going in there. Above the tunnel area, obviously we've got our own security and matchday operations. Above that is a new level, and that will be a media and TV studio. Predominantly for Sky Sports on match days. They will do their game preparation, their game interviews from there. That will come on, and that will be in place for post-Liverpool. That's part of the discussions with the broadcasters. That's all planned into the timeline. So when fans come in for the Liverpool game, they won't see any difference. When they come back post-Liverpool, there'll be a whole new level that's been dropped on there, which is the new media suite. But again, that will be post-Liverpool. But again, if you want to take a walk through here, you'll see some of the key projects that are now taking place.
And key projects that will be ready for Liverpool.
No, listen, you are going to have the Liverpool team, our team, entrancing and exiting here on the 17th.
Right, we come through the tunnel now. This was the kind of lobby area outside the tunnel, outside the home dressing room. But there's a fair amount going on. What can you tell us about this area?
I think it's a good example of what's happening. You're in what was the tunnel. 36 tons of steel in this area alone. 5 new media suites have to be built under Rule K, Premier League regulations. Through there you had the entrance to the home changing rooms, total refurbishment of the home changing rooms. And again, above here, linking on will be the new media suite. And again, the challenge is, as we start to build facilities here, as we dig down and we break ground, we have a prime example. So here, when we broke ground, what did we find? We found the old pylons to the original floodlights. Unfortunately, when those floodlights have been taken down, they'd never been dug out correctly. So that leaves us with a huge issue, a delay in works, more expense, because then we have to go deeper, take those out to put the infrastructure in place properly. But what you can see here, if you just look at the groundworks, the gaps in the floor are for the steels. The steels will support the new media suite. 5 new media rooms in here for the broadcasters. Total refurbishment of the home dressing rooms and a new tunnel area that leads out to the pitch. I mean, just look here at the amount of cables that we found, and we have to know what every single cable does. And this is just one of the 90 plus projects that you're talking about. But again, this has to be ready for the 17th. We kick off.
There's a lot in here that needs to be ready for the 17th. Yeah. We'll keep walking through this way if we can, because this really highlights quite how many projects are going on in this area alone. We'll watch your head on there. We'll head down the tunnel. This is obviously the existing tunnel. Yep. This was what was used all of last season. You'll see on the side, it's all clad, just being looked after. But there's a fair amount being added to this area, isn't there?
Yeah, so even the tunnel here, like you see all the old branding that was here from last season, the images have all been protected, but those will be rebranded, rechanged. The flooring's been protected. But again, this is a real working area. You can see in the ceilings the new cabling that's going in. Again, miles and miles worth of cabling for the broadcasters. You know, we've moved from a 5 or 6 camera feed to a 46, 47 camera feed, which also includes the installation of a full VAR program. This is huge underwork.
Let's keep going down here, because there's some interesting rooms that fans may not quite grasp that is needed within a football stadium.
This is a prime example.
Let's go around here.
So this was the old simple match officials room, which was a small room for the referees and linesmen. Now, when we walk through here, we have to provide increased space for match officials, separate male and female changing rooms. We have to provide masseuse facilities for Premier League officials. And again, this is a huge undertaking. So not only have we refurbished the area in there, as we go through, you'll see we've had to build brand new areas to, again, hit Premier League specifications.
Let's go through and have a little look if we can. Watch out for these. So these are where all the rooms are going in. This is made progress since the last time we were down here.
Yeah, so you can see all the rooms that are going in, additional facilities for the match officials, and you know the specifications that we have to give: new shower facilities, new toilets, new changing rooms. The specifications very high from the Premier League, but all this area now is brand new and has been built onto the back of the stand. And again, as we walk through, you can clearly see it's a hive of activity as we go into what will be new shower facilities for the match officials, male on this side, female on the opposite side. This is a huge undertaking.
So that's officials.
Yep.
Home dressing room, you've also mentioned they're having a refit, but the away dressing room as well is having plenty of work done to it. That's obviously got to be ready as well.
Yeah, listen, the away dressing rooms probably haven't been touched again since the mid-70s, I would have thought. So again, look, we can go in and take a little quick look. But again, there's a complete refurbishment of away facilities, toilets, showers, changing facilities. It's got to look professional. You know, we want to be proud of our home, and it's another major project.
Let's head back out the tunnel then. There's obviously a lot going on down here.
Yeah.
Important to say as well, we're just a few days out from a home friendly with Fortuna Düsseldorf as well.
Yeah.
So clearly this isn't all going to be finished completely by then, but it's very much usable.
Yeah, look, part of it will be operational. Kieran and the players will be well aware of that. We've talked about it before. We will be working at a reduced capacity for that game because it's going to take us till we get to just before the Liverpool game to get all this pulled together. And it's incredible because if you look at this now and you think we've got to be ready for the 17th, you think that's a challenge. It will be a challenge, but it's like most things, everything comes together quite quickly at the end. But this is major infrastructure projects.
Yeah, Fortuna, as you say, reduced capacity for Fortuna, just under 19,000 for that one. So fans will notice some big differences when they come in. We're out in the Stadium Bowl now. Very minor in the grand scheme of things, but even if you look around, people will notice the black kind of vomitories in each of the blocks, the white seats, everything's just looking that little bit smarter. Yeah,
I mean, look, I mean, again, God, my anxiety goes up when I come out here and I see the amount of projects again. But yes, all of the stadium steps have been repainted, black vomitories, white steps, just to give that cleaner, crisp look. And again, major reseating program around the stadium. And it's just immense when you look at it. Each stand has had something done. And actually the seating program has been quite interesting because it's actually allowed us to flex the capacity a little bit, because whilst we had to take some seats out, we've actually put some in. So we will flex the capacity a little bit, which will be quite interesting because I'm always trying to get more and more people in. But we want this to look crisp and professional. I think what the fans will see at the start of the season, they'll be aware we have the digital advertising boards at pitch side, where this season at mid-tier, we will have 2 ribbons. So the 2 ribbons mid-tier at each end will be digitalised for the first home game against Liverpool.
Right. You've mentioned seating. That's obviously been a discussion point over the course of the summer. We can see a lot of them around here. There's one up here, in fact, actually, where extra seats have gone in ultimately. But that's been one that's been something that the club's worked through this summer, isn't it? 800 seat moves for supporters within the stadium, and there's obviously something you'd like to say about that up to this point.
Yeah, and look, when you undertake seats moves, there are always noise, and it always comes with some pain because people have sat in seats for a long time, and you know they want to sit there forever. But unfortunately, we have to move with the times, and we have to deliver change. What I would say is these seat moves are thought through with a wide group of people. including what we've talked about is the Safety Advisory Group. And remember, when we work with the Safety Advisory Group, there are 12 independent bodies, police, ambulance, fire, the local authority, building, planning, regs, that work within that group to help and guide us on this. So all of the seat moves have been thought through. And I know that that causes upset and pain, particularly if you've got to move and you've sat in that seat. I'm really grateful to the amount of fans that have written to me and emailed and communicated and said, look, Mark, you are going to get noise. We see the noise on social media, but just keep going. But again, I do understand that causes upset. I've had some people say to me, well, you could have communicated differently. And the reality of that is we can always be more effective. And if we've got things wrong, we haven't done it on purpose. Look at the amount of work that's going on here. We are working at breakneck speed in all departments to rebuild this football club and be ready for the Premier League. So again, the last thing I want to do is cause people any upset or hurt. And I'm really appreciative of the way the majority of people have accepted the changes, and we'll continue to work with them. But we have to change. We couldn't communicate earlier. We couldn't make some of these decisions earlier, contrary to what people may think, because we have to work through with the relative bodies. And until you are promoted, you can't formally make that decision. But look, it's coming together. The stadium will look sharp, and we'll work with fans to make sure that they're in the best places possible.
We'll get up to have a look at the West Stand seating later.
Yeah.
That's a big project in itself. We're walking towards the Cobold stand now. An old stand. That's very clear. It's an old stand, but there's a lot of work gone on there this summer. You look up there, you can see safe standing. There's the same at the other end.
Yeah.
Supporters will be aware of the glass fronted barrier that's going along the length of it. There's work that needed to be done there this summer.
And I think, look, let's address that. We've got a stand that was built, I think, early 70s. And, you know, we are doing our best to bring it into a modern era before eventually it gets replaced. But fans will be aware that we had a couple of incidents last season where fans came over the top, for whatever reason, of the upper Cobold stand. So there is no question. We have to put some kind of protection in there. We've gone with the most effective and the most expensive solution, which is clear glass. And again, I know that's not perfect, but we have no choice. Since I joined the football club, the Safety Advisory Group have been on to us and on to me about they do not like the rake of the stand. They want it all safe standing. So what we've agreed with them is a partial safe standing plan, which includes the 3,000 away, increase it to 3,000 away fans. And we will see how that goes. I think in reality, there's a good possibility that once that is proven that it works, that the Safety Advisory Group may well come to us and say, we want it all safe standing in the upper. And if it does, we'll work through with them. But I'm looking at it now, and it looks pretty smart.
Yeah, strange thing with that, you can't see it until you get close to it, can you? It's only in the first, like 10 rows or so, it's not there. But if you look from close up, it looks really smart, doesn't it?
And it's a big project for us, the safe standing, because I think, look, we always said we'd work with the Safety Advisory Group. Upper Cobold will be the first area. But then what we will do is we'll look over time at an implementation program across other core areas of the stadium where we may bring safe standing in, and we'll communicate that to fans ahead of time. But I'll reiterate, Andy, we don't make these decisions lightly. We don't just wake up in the morning and say, oh, we're going to move season ticket holders here, or we're going to put safe standing on. This goes through a long process, and it goes through debate with multiple organisations to get to a decision that's effective.
While we're on the subject of the Cobold, actually, it's not just external that there's work going on. There's work going on internally, as there is in every stand.
Yep.
New bars going in, and crucially, I think for the first time ever, draft beer.
Draft beer in the Cobold stand, yep. That will be in for the start of the season. And again, it's just trying to enhance the supporter experience. We're trying to upgrade every single area of the stadium, but she is a beautiful old stadium that is causing us some challenges. And as we walk around, I'll show you some. We've talked about the floodlight pylons. That is a substantial challenge. Every time we seem to take a wall down, we find something that shouldn't be there. And I think, if I'm honest with you, I've said this before, it's due to lack of investment, not over a 10-year period, but probably over a 10, 20, 30, 40-year period that we are trying to deal with in one single close season.
We're on the pitch at the moment. That's been redone this summer, but this was last summer's big project at the stadium, wasn't it?
Yeah, and I'm relieved now that we did that last summer. I think if we had to do the digitalisation of the stadium that we did last year and the new pitch all this year, plus all the Premier League works, I'm not sure we could have delivered it. But the pitch, you can see, is looking great. It was fantastic last season. I think it'll get better this season. And I think, again, we just want to hit the rules and regulations, but we want to give the fans a stadium that they're proud of, that they can say, this is our home. This ownership group have done what they said they're going to do. They've come in, they've invested on the pitch, but my God, they've invested off the pitch. And this is long-term investment strategy from an ownership group that wants to keep this club moving forward.
Yeah, there's so many things we've still got to show around the stadium. Let's keep walking. Floodlights, you mentioned floodlight challenges that we found over there.
Yep.
Just generally floodlights, that's another upgrade.
A substantial upgrade. So we've got to upgrade the existing floodlights, the lux levels, and you're talking a massive upgrade. And that upgrade will ease in between now and September. Again, that's in line with the Premier League rules, regulations, how they want to see that brought in. But it'll be a much brighter stadium. But again, that's a massive project. And actually, if we look at the Cobold stand now, you can see the guys in the roof putting all the electrics in for some of the new floodlights that are going to go in. So yeah, it'll be an increase in the 4 main stanchions, but it will also be an increase in the lighting around the whole stadium. And again, that program is well underway.
It's going to look great, isn't it, when this is all done and we're showing off to the world. We're talking about major upgrades to the stadium, but of course, while we've got you, Mark, upgrades are not limited to buildings and the stadium. 5 new signings already. That's happening as well. The team work going on within the team. How have you found that so far in terms of what we've been able to do this summer in the market?
Yeah, it's a tough window. We're swimming in a bigger pond than we've ever swum in before. It's the same challenges, I think, just with different numbers and much bigger numbers. And when you're dealing with much bigger numbers, your room for error is far less. I think what you've seen with myself and Kieran is we've stuck to the plan. Very talented people who have come into the building on the pitch who will grow with us. And Kieran's been very, very clear and very diligent in the work that he's been doing. 5 in, and that's not the end of it. Fans will understand we are proactive in transfer windows. I think we've done decent business in previous windows in other leagues, and I think we'll continue, and you'll see more players over the next few weeks arrive ahead of the season.
Often in transfer windows, we talk about how the market is. It's obviously a different market now,
Yeah.
but how is the market this summer? Was it what you were expecting?
You ask a good question. Is it what I expected? It's as tough as I expected. Negotiations are probably tougher than ever because you've got to get value. It's very easy to overpay. And if you overpay on the way in a deal, the deal's never right. You're struggling from day one. So the due diligence that we do on the type of player, the personality, the finances, the technical, the tactical piece from Kieran all has to come together. Myself and Kieran lead on that. Luke Warren has been absolutely invaluable in the work that he's done behind the scenes. He's certainly got some more grey hairs this summer. It's relentless, but that's what we do. We don't sing and dance. We don't talk about into the media what we're doing. I think the fans have been great, by the way. I think they've been really controlled in the way they've talked about who we're looking to bring in, which has helped us again. And we'll keep going. There's more to do.
There's more to do on the pitch, off the pitch. Clearly, lots of work going on. We're walking towards the West Stand. I think this is one that supporters will have seen because you can see it from the outside. There's a big hole in the side of the West Stand. You can see through from the road. You can see daylight, which wasn't there before.
Yeah, I think, and the West Stand's a prime example. I don't quite understand why. The West Stand was never completed. So what we're actually doing is we are completing 2 levels of the West Stand, and we're going to put 2 large suites at box level, and then there'll be another level underneath which will really work for the back office of the football club, whilst the ground level gives access and egress into the stadium. But again, you can see, I just can't understand why it was never completed when that level was done. But we'll take this opportunity to increase capacity there, and it'll give us another facility that both on match day and non-match day we can use. Because if you can imagine, those will be 2 lounges holding, say, 50, 60 people. On a non-match day, you have a birthday party for, say, 40 people. You could hire that on a Friday evening. The floodlights are on low. What better place to come? And on a match day, you've got a brilliant match day facility to watch the game from. And there's more and more of these facilities that we're bringing on and upgrading.
Should we keep going? We'll go up there and have a little look at maybe what's going on up there. We'll go out through this north stand corner here. Got Planet Blue in the background over there. It's been a busy time in Planet Blue. New shirts launched a little over 2 weeks ago, and I think they've been pretty well received.
Yeah, I mean, look, we sold, what did we do? Just over 60,000 shirts last year, smashed every record in the club's history. And as of the weekend, we've done over 20,000 home and away shirts already this season, which is just incredible. It really is. So retail, again, continues to be strong. Fans are incredible. They seem to have really taken to the new home and away shirts. So great numbers.
Yeah, have you seen a few of them out and about already?
Yeah, I have, and it's amazing, and it's really important, Andy. I'm aware we're asking fans to buy season tickets. We're asking fans to buy memberships. We're asking fans to buy home and away shirts. We're asking fans to come on community activities. We don't take that for granted, and I'm really grateful at the way the fans again step up, buy the tickets, buy the shirts, commit to the football club. And I just hope today, as we walk around, the fans can see that we're committing back to the supporter base by investing in their home and investing in what will be, again, a beautiful stadium once she's completed.
We're just walking across what is normally the fan zone. It's a bit of it's a building site / car park at the moment, but it's an important area for the club, isn't it, the fan zone, and what we're able to do here? It
is, and look, once we're through the major works here, we have plans in place and designs in place for the AstroTurf here, for the fan zone, because at the moment we have facilities which are mixed use, and what I want to do is I want to give the foundation some better facilities to use for the local community, but also give far more enhanced facilities in the fan zone for supporters. But that'll be a project that we'll be talking about into the season, because as you can see right now, we have to use all the space in the land to access the back of the stand to rebuild.
Yeah, and obviously this area as well, community open day is a big part of that. Fans will want to know if we're going to be able to hold one this summer.
And the answer to that is I can't give the answer right now. We desperately want to do the normal open day. We want the supporters to come in and see the team, etc. But as you can see, where we would normally hold the fan zone currently is a construction site. So what we're doing is we're talking through with the constructors on whether we can get access and egress, clear them off the site on certain days. We might have to do it in a different way this year, but we're working on that. So please, again, I'd say to the fans, just bear with us. We want to have an open day, but actually you can see some of the challenges we've got, and we've got to make sure that we can actually deliver it.
We'll keep going around here. It's from the outside, moving in, another area that used to be a lounge area. It's still going to be a lounge as we head in here. A change. It's the players' lounge. It will be for players' families on match days.
So we talked about before, the area which is above my offices was the old players' lounge. That now becomes new media facilities. Again, that'll hold 70 plus media facilities, major reconstruction works going on in there. So we have to rehouse our players, families, children, etc., partners, wives on match days. So this lounge will now be converted into a room for them. And again, this will be ready for some of the pre-season friendlies and ready for the season. But again, major works. Everywhere you turn, nothing is easy. And I think there's an example probably here. I'm going to give you an example of what we find. So we open a cupboard door at Portman Road, and what do we find? We find a set of steps. Set of steps go nowhere, but they're concrete steps that obviously were put in place many, many years ago. So this is exactly the type of challenge that you've got. Nothing is simple. You try and take a wall down here and you find things that you would never dream existed. And it's because historically when work's been done, it hasn't been done probably as it should have been.
So this will be a great space for it's an important area, isn't it? The players,
Absolutely.
They need to know.
No, the players' wives and their families need to be settled. They need to have a good professional area to be in. We've had to move them. As we've had to move supporters from seats, we've had to move players' families from seats. But again, it's all been well thought through, and this will look nice and tidy once completed.
Let's keep going. Let's head upstairs and see what we can find. It's up into the west stand. Some nice artwork's going to go on the wall here, I believe, just documenting.
Yeah, and again, look, we're aware we've got a great history and tradition of this football club, and you see images of that everywhere. But we also need to celebrate this team and this group of players. And it's the same with the fans. You know, whilst we have real respect for supporters who supported the club for many, many years, we have to have the equal respect for the next generation of fans. All fans have to be treated equally. And what we have seen since we've taken over the club is an influx of young supporters, particularly from the foundation and the schools programs. And we've got to make sure that whilst we respect, love and cherish our history, we actually make sure the stadium is fit for purpose now, and our current players and the successes that they are bringing in are also reflected.
Yeah, it seems a good opportunity to talk about that kind of thing, the past, memorabilia, that kind of thing. There's a plan. There is a plan for that. Some's come down, but there is a plan for it.
So again, I've never been at a football club where there is so much just incredible, priceless memorabilia. Whether that's replica trophies, whether that's art, whether that's medals, etc. It's quite unbelievable. So what we're doing currently is we're working to make sure we've got everything archived, everything documented, everything almost on a memorabilia register. Some of it has come down, and as you can see why it's come down, because we have to protect it. But what we're going to do is we're going to replace it in a strategic manner. Because what I don't just want to have the best memorabilia in the boardroom. Well, why? Because the fans don't get to see it. I want to have it strategically placed around the stadium so our ground tours can be more exciting. Children, families, all generations can come and see the trophies and the memorabilia from this football club. So again, that's another project that will link into the work. Director's box. All the seating's gone. Why? Because again, part of the rules and regulations, we have to have specific things in place for home and away directors. So that's all being changed. And again, it's major works. And some of the major works we're going to go and talk about now link to the area that's directly next to and above the director's box, which are our new media facilities.
Mark, another project, Upper West Stand. We're here in what's going to be a new kind of fan concourse kiosk bar area. We've spoken already about new ones of those going over in the Cobold. I guess on the face of things, a fairly small project in the grand scheme of this, but it adds up to that magic 104 number.
There's no such thing, unfortunately, as a small project here. Again, this is a new fan kiosk, which will, again, increase and improve fan experience in the Upper West. We've done similar in the Cobold stand to, again, improve fan experience. We've changed some of the facilities there and upgraded. But again, you just said it. When you talk to me about that, you would think that is a small project. But you can see no project is minor here. Everything is major. And I must admit, you walk around the stadium and, you know, we've got a hell of a lot of work to do for the 17th.
Yeah, let's head down here. And obviously, this is where the new media facilities are going. Including a redone bar area as well. Yeah, again, a new area we've had to just create from dust. This is the area where the Sky presenters will be during the game, etc. So I would imagine that your likes of Gary Neville, Roy Keane, Jamie Carragher, etc. will be in this. And again, we have to provide eating facilities, media facilities, obviously toilet facilities. So we're building this area from dust. And again, it has to be ready for the 17th. So again, trying to give the fans a taste of just the volume of work that's been undertaken. We'll head up the stairs here, and this is kind of, in addition to that, this is the seating area for the media, not just written media, radio, broadcast too, all around the world. It's not just Sky Sports. It's every country in the world. No, and again, I go back to it. This is. I think this gives a great perspective of the volume and scale of work that's going on here. So. Again, new media facilities, huge increase in quantity. And again, this is where we've had to relocate supporters who wouldn't naturally be upset because this is probably one of the best views in the house. But this is where the broadcasters have said, you have no alternative, Mark. That's where we want it. So we've had to extend and hang over what is the director's box and increase substantial space for the broadcasters. And you've just said, this is international broadcasters. Gone are the days when we first came here that there were 3 or 4 media on a match day or on a pre-match day for Kieran's Press. You now will have the global world here for Liverpool on the 17th. We have to get used to working in that world, and the team are working tirelessly to create the facilities that we are obligated to provide under our licence agreement with the Premier League. Let's jump quickly to reception. We can't actually walk there on this route because of how it's looking, but we'll see. But I do think this gives you, if you look here, you look at the Alf Ramsey stand, the Bobby Robson stand, you look at the Cobold, you look at the West stand, you can see here for once the amount of work that's going on just within the bowl. And I hope this gives the supporters a flavour of what's going on in their stadium. heading into main reception. This is one that only started a few days ago, but rapid progress already.
Yeah, main reception totally ripped out, refurbed as part of the program, and again timelines. But it's the front of house, and it hadn't been touched for a very, very long time. So we've stripped it all out. This will be very modern, very clean, very crisp, and will represent the club much, much better.
We found some windows that we weren't aware were there.
Oh, just incredible. Again, you move some cabinets and there's windows behind that have just been covered up. So again, that's just what we keep finding here. But again, I think this is important because it's the first point of call that people will see as they come into Portman Road.
Okay, just heading up the stairs here to what are the new media facilities. This is the media entrance, so the world's media will enter our stadium here and head upstairs to, I don't know if you're calling this one project or multiple projects up here, but it's certainly a lot of work.
This has been a huge project. You would think it was a simple one, but it hasn't been because we've had to reinforce the whole floor here. What was the players' lounge, and you're going to have multiple rooms here catering for over 70 of the world's press, and again is a Rule K licensing agreement with the Premier League. And as we walk through, you are going to see multiple rooms, new toilets, general media working rooms that again have got to be completed. And again, this whole floor here has had to be reinforced. And this project has probably been one of the largest projects that we've actually had to undertake. I thought it would be a simpler project, but it's been big. But again, it's a licensing piece and we've got to have it done.
Yeah, so this is the media working room. Yep. So journalists will be in here pre and post match writing. You talk about reinforcing the floor. I think we've heard every bang in our offices, which are directly below this. We've heard every bit of work going on there. But as we work around the corner, there's obviously new toileting needs to go in, something as simple as that.
Catering facilities for
catering
the media,
as well, and in here.
And this is actually the press room itself. So this will have a raised floor. There will be media seats, conference style, for again the world's media. This is where Kieran will do his pre and post match work. Again, this sits directly above our offices, so you're right. We've heard every piece of work that's been done. But again, a major infrastructure project that just has to be ready.
And as you say, we're heading towards catering facilities as well. That's all part of it. And
the Premier League are very, very detailed with us on what they need and what their requirements are. And as you can see, as we walk through here, it just goes on and on and on. We've got some really good contractors, as I've said, multiple contractors with over 200 workers on site at any point, working Saturday and Sunday, working through the nights. But it's the only way in which we could get this stadium anywhere near ready.
Yeah, you've touched on it there. Obviously, there's an awful lot going on. We've by no means seen everything that's going on at the stadium today. There is a lot, but it's a little over 3 weeks now until we open our doors to the world. How does that make you feel walking around today?
If it didn't give me some anxiety, I'd be telling you lies. But I have a very dedicated, very professional team who are working tirelessly, and the stadium will be ready. There will be some works that we need to go into the stadium and continue on with, that's for sure. We're in continued dialogue with the Premier League. They seem to be happy with the programme of works. But there's a lot to do. And I'm really grateful. I'm grateful to my staff. And again, I'll say this to the fan base. Please understand, I'm not talking about me here. I'm talking about the teams that run this business are working tirelessly day and night to get this stadium ready. And I'm so proud of them. I'm so grateful to the fan base again because the support they've shown in season tickets, membership, shirts, community activities this summer has been incredible. We have a hell of a lot to do, but we've talked about us being together. And as long as we're together as one, we'll have the stadium ready. We'll be ready on the pitch. We'll be ready off the pitch for Liverpool and ready to open our doors to the world come the 17th of August.
It's going to look brilliant. Thank you for showing us around, Mark.
It's a pleasure.